This is Picks on Politics with Dan Manarino.
And welcome to Picks on Politics, everybody. I am Dan Manarino. So let's talk about it. In the race for New York City mayor, the current mayor, Eric Adams, often says that his story is not being told. So today, we're looking at what's called the Mayor's Management Report. Now, I know it doesn't sound sexy, but it's a biannual report. It takes a close look at how the mayor and city agencies are actually doing. It's the last of Mayor Adams' first term as he tries to pull off a late surge in the polls to secure that second term. Let's take a look. Some of the key takeaways here. A big win in public safety, right? Crime numbers continue to go down. The city seems to be winning the war on rats with fewer sightings as well. Affordable housing construction also on the rise. But a concerning takeaway, ambulance wait times on the rise, and the addition of bus lanes falling well below the goals. Meanwhile, council members throwing out criticism to City Hall for failing to appear at two key hearings this week. Sources telling Pix 11 it was First Deputy Mayor Randy Mastro who kept City Hall officials from appearing. Well, today we're going straight to the source to find out more. First Deputy Mayor Randy Mastro going on the record. And he is joining me now. Welcome back to the show.
Pleasure to be here, Dan.
So let's talk about the mayor's management report first. Taking a look, it's really a progress report, right? For it. Major crimes continue to drop, rat sightings down, summer jobs, affordable housing construction up. Those are all good things, right? What was your takeaway from it?
Well, my takeaway is that the city is on the rise. Okay, crime down in some categories like shootings and murders to record lows. Affordable housing being produced at an unprecedented rate in city history, and improving quality of life and economic performance, job opportunities, youth employment opportunities. It's a very positive report about where our city is headed. Of course, the purpose of a mayor's management report is a self-assessment about where we're doing well and where we need to do better. So there are categories where we need to do better. And in fact, in the budget just passed, unanimously passed by the City Council. That hasn't happened in many, many years. We've provided funding to address many of the issues identified in that report. But overall, I think it's fair to say, and many commentators have, the city is doing well and on the rise under Mayor Adams.
So taking a look at that report, right, and some of the areas you're mentioning that you do need to work on, right? Starting today, what is area number one that you want to have a better report next time?
For me, it's improving EMS response times. Police response times have improved.
Right.
EMS, those response times takes too long. We are addressing it. You're going to hear more about that in the very near future. Another area, obviously cleaner parks and streets contributes to quality of life. We've addressed that in the budget just passed unanimously. We have devoted more to sanitation, cleaning of empty lots and streets. We have added a second shift to park cleaning. So we're ahead of the curve before the report even came out.
Okay, good. I want to talk about the multiple city council hearings this week. One that just happened on Thursday regarding a housing project. It's slated for the Bronx. For those who don't know, it would offer places to live to ex-inmates with serious medical conditions. Now,
from Rikers.
From Rikers, yes. The city council, including Justin Brannan, said that City Hall provided nobody there. I know you have something different to say, but I want to play a soundbite from Justin Brannan first about what he thought about it.
Second time this week we've gathered in this chamber as a co-equal branch of government in the City Council, and this is how your mayor and City Hall is represented, by a row of empty chairs. They don't care about New York. They care about keeping their own power.
So was there a row of empty chairs there from especially Health and Human Services, which is in charge of part of this project?
Okay. So while I have great respect for Justin, that's his 15 seconds of fame.
Okay.
You know, it's political rhetoric, and the only person engaging in politics is him and the council. We actually had, sitting in that audience, Deputy Mayor Tiffany Raspberry for Intergovernmental Affairs, Special Advisor to the Mayor Diane Savino, and we also had submitted a written statement from the head of the Health and Hospitals Corporation, and the council kept them waiting. Kept a deputy mayor and a special advisor to the mayor waiting for over an hour, only let them testify at the end. So for Justin to say that, it's just wrong. Now, I will say this. Earlier in the week, we did not have individuals show up at a hearing that was on the federal cuts of the Trump administration and how they are affecting or could affect the city. What we did was we produced 13-page single-spaced report detailing every federal program that was at issue, what we've done to prevent the cuts, when we've gone to court to prevent the cuts, gave them all of that information. But what we didn't do, because it's such a sensitive time dealing with the Trump administration, was submit to the political theater individuals to be berated by the council.
So let me break this down. Let me break it down first, because there's two hearings, right? So for the first one, was there a row of empty chairs?
We produced 13-page single-spaced written report detailing it all. There were no individuals who appeared to testify.
Right, that's the one about SNAP benefits and Medicaid, right? So
right, about the Trump administration, when we're in such a sensitive time with the Trump administration, and the city council should be joining us instead of trying to subject us to political theater.
Okay, so let me ask you the question then, since you didn't have anybody there. How will that affect an everyday New Yorker if those cuts to Medicaid and SNAP happen?
Well,
and what's the contingency plan?
This is why we are fighting every day to prevent and address potential cuts. In some areas, we have already restored funding. We got ahead of the curve, and we have put that funding into the adopted budget. In other respects, we are fighting in court or joining lawsuits to do that. We say to the city council, don't engage in the political theater to attack the administration. Join with us in standing up to the Trump administration. Mayor Adams has now participated in 24 lawsuits against the Trump administration. Some of them successful. He's appealed to the Trump administration, gotten funding restored, got a wind project, multi-billion-dollar wind project off the coast of Brooklyn restored. We are every day fighting for New York City. City Council, join us instead of worrying about the political theater.
Okay, so let me talk, since we're talking about the federal government, you know, the mayor took a strong stance this week on several topics, including the school bathroom policy, which currently allows students to use the bathroom that aligns with their gender identity. Now, it came days after the Trump administration allegedly sent a letter to states, including New York, about concerns regarding bathrooms. So can you explain the timing of it all? Why Mayor Adams came out on Wednesday and said, this is something we're going to take a look at? Was it because of the letter?
I don't know that the mayor chose to comment, and he chose to comment because of any letter. I know the mayor has views on bathroom policies and other issues that he thinks reflect common sense. But
did you see the letter?
I did not see the letter, but it's not about what Trump is doing. It's about what Eric Adams is doing, standing up for common sense.
Right, so why now is the timing of it, right? Meaning, why specifically on Wednesday? He's had 4 years to talk about the bathroom.
Well, I think this has been an issue that in more recent months and since the presidential election less than a year ago, that has put a focus on certain social issues that I think many Democrats have asked themselves, are we in the right place on this issue?
The letter, according to the New York Times, said the Trump administration could withhold $35 million in federal grant money if a city like New York does not overhaul the guidelines. So when you have a price tag of $35 million being withheld, could that have been a factor on why address it now?
Again, I don't know whether that was part of the mayor's thinking, and I haven't seen that.
But can you see why someone might tie the two together?
I can see why we should be, as an administration, sensitive to issues where the Trump administration is once again threatening to cut our funding. That doesn't mean we don't stand up to that administration when they're wrong, and we don't go to court when that administration has been wrong. This mayor's gone to court more than any other mayor in the country, I think, to challenge the Trump administration. So when there are points of agreement, we try to find those. But in so many instances where there have been threatened cuts by the federal administration, we have said no, and we've stood up, for New York.
Okay. The other big topic, the horse carriages, right, and the ban there. It was big news. This has been such a hot topic for so many for a long time. So why now? Again, why now?
Okay. Mayor Adams is meeting the moment. There have been a series of horrific incidents in recent months. One horse died, collapsed on the street and died 3 times this calendar year, including just a couple of weeks ago. Horses got away running wild, passengers jumping and injuring themselves from the carriages. This has to stop. And the Central Park Conservancy has now come out to ban the industry. And that's where these horses are now. This is the moment. It's time for the City Council to act. City Council passed legislation originally that allowed licensing of this industry. City Council has to end it. And the mayor has issued a message of necessity to do that and told city agencies in the interim, while the industry is phased out between now and June 2026, to implement steps to phase it out.
Okay, to be continued there, and I'm up against the clock here, but I do want to ask you about overall rhetoric. There were death threats this week. A person was in court and arrested for wanting to allegedly shoot and kill Zoran Mamdani. What do you think of the race and the tone and the rhetoric that's out there right now?
Yeah, I personally, as a New Yorker and an American, I condemn that kind of rhetoric, whether it comes from the left or the right. It has no place. A spirited debate about issues and policies and positions people have taken in the past, that's what the First Amendment and politics is all about. But we are living in a very disturbing, dangerous time. And I'm sorry to see it happen to any mayoral candidate. I'm sorry to see it happen to any political commentator. And I pray for the time when we realize we need some civility in our discourse, and we all need to condemn the violence.
First Deputy Mayor Randy Mastro, come on back soon, okay? It's always good to talk to you.
Thank you, Dan.